fun. Gosh, this is so much better. I get to see all of your amazing faces. I am back, and I am back with a vengeance, y'all. I am back, and I am fired up. It's good to see you, Deanna. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Ashley and Melanie and Pia, what's up? Tammy, how are you, dear? Bob, what's going on, brother? Ruth, good to see you. Melissa, how are you? Roger, good to see you. Dr. Boger, good to appreciate you being here, brother. Jaden, how are you? It looks like Trish Ann. We got a bunch of people hopping on here, and make sure you take the next couple minutes. Let everyone know this is the place to be. Let's fill this call up. I got 3 pages of notes. I got 3 pages of notes. And I don't care if you're reading this book or not. My hope is that you're going to get some value from tonight's call. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Man, we got a crazy week ahead. Oh man, we got a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff coming. And so, like I said, take the next couple minutes. I'm going to let everyone know in my chats that we are live. And as always, let me know where you're watching from. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. Albuquerque's in the house and Seattle's in the house. Good to see you guys. Louisiana's in the house. What's up? What's up? What's up? Vermont's in the house. Texas is here. What's up? Oh, we're loaded in. California and Washington. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. What's up? Oh, I love this when it goes to page 2. Page 2 is filling up. That means I got to flip over and say hi to all the people over on page 2. What's up? I just see Melissa Lucas jumping on. Tiffany Shazer's jumping on. Sandy Kraft, how are you? Nebraska. I'm getting there. I'm not 100%, but you will not know the difference because I am fired up. Fired up. Look at the amazing Julie with that awesome hair. She's so great. I'm so grateful that she's here hanging with me this evening. She always keeps things running smoothly. How's the weather where you guys are at? Let me know how the weather is where you're at. We're going to start in just about a minute here. But again, let everyone know this is the place to be. We're going to get started in just about a minute. How's the weather? It's starting to get chilly out here in Pennsylvania. It's starting to get a little chilly. We've gone from the 80s and the 70s down into the 60s. And it's nice. It's that good fall weather. It's starting to change. The leaves are starting to change. Erica Jordan's on here. What's going on, sister? Melissa Porto. Carrie Cotis. Oh my gosh. This is like a reunion from convention. Put a 1 in the comments if you were hanging with me at convention. Put a 1 in the comments if you were hanging at convention. Oh my gosh. So much fun. So much fun. We're just going to pretend it was last weekend and that I didn't take the full week off after my mouth surgery and all that stuff. We're just going to pretend. We're just going to pretend. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. You know what? I've got some more stuff. They're still working on some stuff, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Look at everyone loading on. This is awesome. It's good to see all of you. Peter and Carmela Sterling hopping on. Saw you guys riding bikes today with PJ. That looks so much fun. That's awesome. But as we get going here, courage is calling. Courage is calling. And like I've said multiple times, whether you're reading the book or listening to the book, or you are just hopping on these calls just to be a part of some of this personal development on Mindset Mondays. I'm just glad that you're showing up. I'm glad that you're here. If you are reading the book, I would love to hear in the comments what you're taking away from part 1 of Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. Part 1 is all about fear. And I love this topic. I love this topic. Courtney Hadley's on here. What's going on? Good to see you. I love this topic. And I love that he really dives headfirst into fear when it comes to the whole topic of the book, Courage is Calling. And so I want to jump into, I don't know, did we ever find a way to silence those little dings, Julie? I'm still hearing them on my end. I'm sure you guys are too on yours.
Yes, I did. I'm reaching out to IT to see why that didn't work, but
Good. It's all good. I'm not stressed about it. A new ding means that someone else is coming on to hang with us.
yes, that's
So,
true.
you know what? I love dings. I'm a fan of dings. Ding the whole ding dang time. So let's get it started. Fear, part one. And I want to dive into this again. You might be taking different things away from this book as you are reading or listening to it than I am. And understand that I'm really reading this book for now the second time in the vein of trying to really apply a lot of this to our lives and our businesses. And so the first thing I want to say about fear, and I hope that you guys are taking some notes, because I believe this book is going to have some noteworthy stuff in it that I think would be good to have down. But number one, I want to talk first on fear that I say all the time. Fear is simply a misunderstanding of the unknown. And I think when it comes to courage, when it comes to having courage in your business, courage in your life, courage to not be complacent, courage to not stay comfortable, it all revolves around fear. That's one common thing that we all have in common. Every single one of us experiences fear. Every one of us. We are not exempt. You can't get away from it. You can't avoid it. You can't run from it. You can't just live your life so small and so quiet that you never feel it. Because even when you do, you fear missing out. That's why they have that phrase FOMO. Fear of missing out is there because you're living in this place that you're like, oh, all these people are living their lives. I don't want to miss it. Fear is simply a misunderstanding of the unknown. And I love that in this book, Ryan Holiday talks about, he says, do you guys know what the most used phrase in the Bible is? The most used phrase in the Bible, if you know it, put it in the comments. The most used phrase in the Bible. Be not afraid. Yes, do not fear. Be not afraid. It's unbelievable how many times it's referenced in the Bible when you actually go look at it. And I didn't even really realize it as someone that's read the Bible now in my life a handful of times through. You don't really realize, but to be honest, I thought it was unbelievable to have it pointed out. Be not afraid, the most used phrase in the Bible. I also love that he says, be scared. Be scared, but do not be afraid. Scared, we all feel scared. We all get that gut instinct of being scared. Scared is an impulse reaction, but to be afraid is a choice. I can jump scare you guys and go, oh, that scared me. Okay. But to be afraid is a choice. It's a feeling. It's a choice of a feeling. And he talks about how to defeat fear with logic. And I think that was really a smart thing. If you're taking notes, defeat fear with logic. We've all heard this before. Fear broken down, false evidence appearing real. I want you guys to stop for a moment and look at your businesses, look at your lives. Ask yourself a simple question that I think is very simple for all of us to answer. Are you where you want to be right now? I can say no, I'm not where I want to be. I think the majority of us can all say no, we're not where we want to be right now. And that's good. Understand, that's not like a slap. That's like that means that you are looking to grow. That means that you are looking to continue to blossom and to continue to become a better and more educated individual. I want you to ask yourself, when in regards to your building of your business, again, I'm going to go into that vein of business building here for a second. What are you afraid of in your business? And this is not to put in the chat. This is for you to write in your notes. This is a personal thing for you to write down. What are you afraid of in your business? Are you afraid of the prospecting? Are you afraid of what people might think of you? Are you afraid of, and these are all real fears. Are you afraid of telling people what the Happy Co is, explaining what it is that we do and who it is that we are. Does that give you a little bit of fear? Yes, rejection. Someone telling you, no, this is stupid. Can't believe you would bring this to me, of course. They're all real fears. I want to remind you that the prospect is just as afraid as you are, but for different reasons. The prospect is just afraid as you are, but for different reasons. Tiffany, please give that beautiful girl a big hug and a big hi from me. Put your camera on and then I can say hi to her. There she is. So, hey, pretty princess, how are you? I miss you. It's good to see you. So again, all that to say is the prospect that you are talking to is just afraid, but they're afraid of different things for different reasons. They're worried about how they're going to pay bills and continue to post on Instagram as though everything's all good in their life. They're worried about how they're going to be, doing the fun things that they want to do and living up to the social media pressures and the external pressures of keeping up with the Joneses. Well, all of us understand that inflation has gone through the roof. There's no one, do you know anyone right now that's going, I'm doing great right now financially. Like I'm good. We're crushing it. Like there's very few people in the world that are going around right now. I don't care if you've got $1 million in the bank, you're still going, it's not enough. Like this is like, at the end of the day, things are changing and people are uncertain. And in uncertain times, people are looking for answers. They are fearful. We get to be a conduit of hope. But we can't be that conduit of hope if we are allowing our fear to direct us. I wrote this down. A lot of times people get really nervous. What if they ask hard questions? What if they ask me something hard? What if they do? And what is a hard question? Do the products work? Of course they do. Are you kidding me? Erica Jordan, how much weight have you lost in the last 6 months? I know you just made a post about it. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. Oh, she might have stepped away for a quick second. She just made a post about it, and it's insane. Like I don't even. It's ridiculous. Tiffany, you could probably put it in there. But again, do the products work? Of course, the products work. Last month, did any of you receive a commission check? Put a 5 in the comments if you received a single dollar from the Happy Co. So the pay plan works. What about the tools in the support? We're there every step of the way. And so I want to just kind of arm you with a little bit of backing, because as we talk about fear and as we continue this conversation, I want to remind you that a lot of the people that you're talking to are just as afraid as you are to call them, but for different reasons. You just got to put your fear aside in an effort of saying, look, it's almost like, that phrase, hurting people hurt. My parents dug that into me to the point that when someone tries to hurt me, my initial reaction is to want to love on them. My initial reaction is to want to it's not to, if someone tries to bash my name or tries to say something poor about me, it's at the end of the day, I feel bad because I've never seen a happy person try to bring somebody down. Don't be afraid of the tough questions. Welcome them. I heard a lot of people don't make money. That's true. Do you know why? Because it's a performance-based business. The same as real estate, the same as small business ownership, the same as buying a franchise, the same as doing anything in an entrepreneurial vein. If you don't do anything, you're not going to get paid. Which is real simple to say, maybe you're just not an entrepreneur. You know what really ekes some people when they're looking at, maybe this just isn't for you. It's becoming more and more clear to me that you have an employee mindset, not an entrepreneur mindset. And that's okay. You want to trade time for dollars. I get that. That's all good. I understand that. But to be an entrepreneur means that you can accept the opposite, means that you can accept the work being put in up front, knowing that there is a back end payoff that will far outweigh the time that you put in at the front end. Entrepreneurs jump off the cliff and we build our wings on the way down. Employees stand on the cliff and watch us fly. Don't be deterred by your difficulties, for they are what will make the mountaintop that much sweeter. Do not be deterred by your difficulties, for they are what is going to make your victories that much sweeter. And what does Jim Rohn say? Every mountaintop is just a valley for the next mountain. And so ultimately, it's all about having victory after victory after victory, but don't shy away from your difficulties. Some of you have been here for 4 years and are not where you want to be yet. Guess what? I know people that have been in companies for 10 years of hardships that have had 1 year that turned their entire life around, changed their life for the rest of their life. I mean, I could go through endless examples, biblical examples, real life examples. You think everything was just created overnight? Everything that is good in this world, everything that was worth having? You know what? It's good that it's hard. You know why it's good that it's hard? Because it just deters the cowards. It's good that it's hard, because it deters the cowards. If it was easy, everyone would do it. There would be no value. If everyone could do it. Another thing that he points out that I love is we love to focus on the fear of others instead of our own. Gut check time. You love just as much as I do to study and focus on the fear of others more than you love to focus on your own. We want to solve the fears in everyone's life around us. You're afraid of that? Let me help you. Your kids are afraid of something, you want to walk them through it. Your spouse is afraid of something, you're the first pushing this person to say, come on, you got this. We love to focus on the fear of others instead of focusing on our own. Let this be a wake-up call. Let this be a gut check. It's time to focus on our own fears equally. Doesn't mean that you stop focusing on others' fears. Doesn't mean that you don't try to be a conduit of hope and helpful to those in your life that are looking to overcome. But it means that you give yourself the same grace. It means you give yourself the same support that you give others around you. That's what that means. Swear to God, I thought for a second I was trying to ignore it. I thought one of my children was just standing out the door, aside the door, giving me a soft clap, and it was my dog scratching himself aggressively. I was like, is one of my kids literally giving me like a golf clap from outside my office? And I look over and my dog is just sitting there just going to town on his neck. Can't make this stuff up, you guys. We just roll with the punches. We're going to go live with it. Fear is going to determine what is and is not possible in your life. Write that down. The fear that I possess is going to determine what is and is not possible in my life. For if I fear it too much, I'm not going to do it. It will physically determine what you do and do not do in your life. Now, yes, obviously this applies to, I'm not ever going to jump out of a plane. I'm not ever going to, do all this, that, and the other, all these things. But it can also apply to, I'm really, really afraid to pick up the phone every single day and start 10 new conversations. That scares the ever living out of me. And if it really scares you that much and you can't put logic behind it and find a way to overcome that fear, then you're probably never going to do it. In which case, again, I'm going to ask the same question I asked earlier that you should be asking your prospects. Hard pill to swallow, say it with love, but we really got to ask ourselves, are we possessing an entrepreneurial mindset? Or are we possessing an employee mindset? One thing that I love about entrepreneurs and more importantly, influencers, my father always says, one of my favorite attributes of an influencer is they will create action where action would not otherwise be created. For instance, if you were to take my father and say he wanted to go build again, you could literally drop that man anywhere on the planet. Anywhere. And within 90 days, he would have a flourishing organization. Doesn't matter how small the town is, doesn't matter how small the area, doesn't matter if there's no people there, bad internet connection, doesn't matter. So again, I want you to really think about that in the determination of what isn't possible, what is and what isn't possible in your life. Another thing that people find to be a little bit fearful, how do you tell people what you do? That trips a whole lot of you up on a regular basis. Someone says, what do you do? Shit. I don't know. Coffee. You want to see some coffee? Weight loss, anxiety, side gig. Don't want to say network marketer. It's kind of like an affiliate. I get it. I understand. I get it. This is a safe space. So I want you to really think about that and get something down, get it down when it comes to, what do you tell people? What do you tell people when they ask you what it is that you do? Another thing that I wrote down, this will mess with a few more of you too. How many people have you told about what you're doing with the Happy Co without prospecting them? You know what works really, really well in prospecting people is not prospecting them. Lynn, oh my gosh. You asked me what I'm doing. I just have been doing the most amazing thing. I found this home-based business and it's incredible. The products have helped me lose 25 pounds in the last 6 months. My husband has been freaking out about whatever. All my love and support, all this stuff has been good. It's been great. Oh my gosh. How have you been? Instead of, I found the latest and greatest thing, Lynn. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. You got to check it out. It's right up your alley. It's perfect for you. Do you like coffee? Do you like lemonade? Do you like hot chocolate? Do you like this? Oh my gosh. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Your goal is to create a stable of prospects that are saying, tell me more, not an army of people saying, I've heard enough. You want a giant stable of prospects that are saying, tell me more, not an army of people saying, I've heard enough. That makes sense? Put a 5 in the comments if that makes sense. So fear ultimately comes back to your why. Really comes back to your why. And this again is going to be I say it with love message. But a lot of you guys are not where you want to be right now because your why is not strong enough. And then I say that with all the love in my heart. And maybe it is, and maybe it is when you say it, and maybe it is to an extent. But put a 3 in the comments if you have children. How much fear would you feel running into a building that was on fire if you knew your child was inside of it? I can tell you for me, there would be less than a blink of an eye hesitation. There would be 0 ounce of fear in my body, as I can assume every single parent on this call would say the exact same. 0 hesitation. Scared, yeah. What did we talk about earlier? Scared it's a feeling. Everyone gets scared. But afraid is what would cause you to stop. I was too afraid to run in. I was scared, but I went in anyways. Exactly. Every single parent says the same thing on here. I wouldn't even think about it. Just run it. Now, that is obviously an extreme. But can you imagine if your why pulled you that aggressively? That it woke you up in the middle of the night thinking about it? That it, like when you were at work during the day, it consumed your every thought. You were just waiting to get a free moment. At convention, I believe it was Darren that talked about 7 layers of a why. I think it was amazing. And just really taking your why and getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And how important that is to really just dig down, because if you're just here to make an extra $300 to $500 a month, that's great. But why? What is that $300 to $500 for? I need $300 to $500 to pay off some bills. What bills? The electric bill. Why? Well, because we want to have power in this house. And right now we're having to rob Peter to pay Paul. And you get down to that nitty gritty where you see it and you're running towards it every day. And it gives so much more life to your why. A lot of people get caught in paralysis by analysis. We've all heard that before. Paralysis by analysis. You sit and analyze and analyze and analyze over and over. A good plan today, I'll tell you, is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. No one's perfect. Remember, it's normally what lies beyond your fears that leads to what you've always wanted. Remember that. In every instance. And I love that he has a whole chapter, a whole part on this. The scariest thing you can do is just to be yourself. That's scary in today's world. I can speak from personal experience. It's scary to be yourself, to not want to conform. I'm a goofy individual. I'm a goofy guy. I mean, I've found chapters of my life where I've felt like I needed to conform into a mold and to kind of be what I needed to be. And I'm sure some of you have felt the same way. I was so grateful. I want to tell you guys a story. When I was about 14 years old, my father, we did a boys trip. My father and my uncle took me and my brother and some of my boy cousins down to Mexico for like a spring break trip. And I was the oldest by far. So I was probably a little bit older at this point. I was probably 16 years old. And it wasn't the most fun for me to go on a spring break trip because my brother is 10 years younger than me and all my cousins were around his age. And so bunch of 6, 7, 8-year-old boys, and then me, a 16-year-old with my dad, and my uncle on spring break in Mexico. I'm like, this is not what I was hoping for. All that to say is, there was one night where my dad and my uncle did something, and I'll literally never forget this night my whole life. It was such a great life lesson. They said, tonight we're going to have a fun night. Tonight we're going to go to a dinner, but we're going to do something fun. Every single one of us has to wear somebody else's pants to dinner. So you can imagine everyone had, obviously we're adults to 16 to kids. So my dad and my uncle put on my brother and my cousin's pajama pants that went up to like their knees. They were just ridiculous. They looked insane. They had to put on like oversized stuff. We were all just putting on ridiculous clothes. And I will never forget my little cousin Gabe, who was about 10 years old at the time, 8, 9, 10. He would not do it. He was just adamant, like so embarrassed. He was so fearful of what people would think of him. And I was even at 16, I was like trying to be like the cool one, like, okay, like, all right, we're going to do it, kids. Like, all right. Even in my head, I'm like, this is so dumb. I really don't want to do this. But I'll never forget, we got to this restaurant. And I'm not even kidding you when I say within 10 minutes of being there, people started coming up to us and asking to take pictures with my uncle and my dad and us as the kids, because we were dressed so ridiculous. They're like, this is the coolest and funnest thing we've ever seen. You guys are clearly all wearing each other's clothes and stuff like that. This is great. Can we take a picture? And photo after photo, that night we probably took 50 photos with people at Senior Frogs down in Mexico at this restaurant. And by the end, my cousins thought that they were celebrities. They thought it was the coolest thing. They literally walked out. The Senior Frogs people gave them shirts. They had like all these, so they put them up on the bar. Like it was, they thought it, they still talk about it to this day as like a core memory for themselves as children. But what I will always remember is the deathly fear that they felt going into that. And I was just reminded in reading this book, that flashed into me, how often we have this unbelievable fear that tends to be such a beautiful memory on the for some of you, I can only imagine you've already experienced, a fear of, Tiffany Shazzer or Lynn Rayner, some of these amazing leaders that we have on this call. I'm only seeing the ones that are on camera right now, but all that to say is, I guarantee that in your journey, you have had endless moments of fear where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid to call this person. And because you did, that person is now a part of this business. Their life has forever been changed. It's like, it's just, these are the moments that I wish everyone can experience. But again, going back to the fact that it's hard for a reason. The feeling is so good for a reason because not everyone gets to feel it. That's why it feels so good. So in closing out this chapter, I want you to, again, and I'm not trying to take you to church, even though it kind of feels like it, and it's super fun to get deep with you here, but I want you to ask yourself and write down, if you're taking notes, what tradition will I choose? We're walking into tradition season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the fun traditions, all the fun stuff. I want you to think about your life. What tradition are you going to choose for your life? What will those that follow say about us? Say about you? Think about that. Not in like a coming down way or like a negative way. My hope is that it's optimistic. My hope is that opens your mind. My hope is that it frees your mind to say, you know what? Maybe up till this point, right now, my story wouldn't read that good. Maybe up until this point right now, my story would have a couple ups and then kind of a plateau. Maybe there'd be a couple crazy seasons in the beginning and then just some conformity. But you know what? If there was a book of my life, this is where the climax begins. This is where the chapters start to get interesting. This is where I throw a loop, a curveball into the story that you didn't see coming. The reader, you read my life, you watching my life. This is where I'm going to throw a curveball that you didn't see coming. What will those that follow us say? What I believe that they will say is that in the face of hardship, in the face of overcoming just the entrepreneurial dream of creating your own time freedom, creating your own financial future, your own financial freedom, that they went headfirst and steadfast. That when they were afraid, they sought advice. When they found fear, they sought mentorship. When they got scared, they went to learn new skills. When a student asks a question, what happens? He learns something. Do not be afraid of asking questions. Do not be afraid of seeking guidance, mentorship, leadership. Do not be afraid. You've heard me say this in the past, but I'll say it again. If you want something to be afraid of as we close out this call, Lynn's heard me say this. I'll give you something to be afraid of. You guys want something to be scared of? Be deathly afraid. Be petrified that there is someone in your life right now. Right now, Melissa. Right now, Ashley. Someone in your life right now that you know that's sitting right by you in your life, in your circle, that is suffering, that doesn't know how they're going to make it, that doesn't know how they're going to do this, that doesn't know what life looks like next month. They are praying for your phone call, for what you have to offer, for your conduit of hope, for your bridge of opportunity. They are waiting for you. And without you being able to get over some simple fears, they will never hear from you. Be deathly afraid that if you were not able to get over what you need to get over, that they wouldn't hear from you. And without hearing from you, that their life could potentially stay in complacency for the rest of their life. That they could stay in fear and unknowing, and that they could literally go to their grave going, I believe that there was something great in me, but no one ever saw it. God, I knew I had something good. I knew I could have given more to this world, but no one ever saw it. I waited and I waited and I waited. Be deathly afraid that that person is right next to you in your life. And they're just waiting for you. We are on the cusp of something unbelievable here, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. I'm putting together some amazing stuff for this What's Up Weekly with some incredible before and after pictures, mainly focusing on our collagen. So if you have some amazing before and after pictures on the collagen, I already have a ton, but if you've got any or your team has anyone, please send them over to me, tworre@thehappyco.com, or tag me in them on Facebook or whatever it might be. But get them to me, because we're going to put a big campaign together, because you guys went through Paradise Punch like hot fire. And so our focus now is going to be mainly on what I believe is our #1 product in our arsenal right now when it comes to efficacy, when it comes to actual science behind it, is our collagen. Our Happy Collagen is unbelievable. And so we are going to be showing some incredible before and after pictures and some testimonials on What's Up Weekly. Got some amazing news for you coming up on Wednesday. And as always, I just hope that you guys got some value from this Mindset Monday. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a part of this with me. I've got a fun challenge for you on Wednesday. So what I would tell you is stack out Wednesday for me. Stack it out. Get everyone that you know and then some on Wednesday's call, because I've got a little challenge I'm going to be putting out. I do not want you to miss it, as well as I think I told everyone, but if you have not heard this, let me say this real fast. We know that a lot of you were not able to make it to convention due to whether it was life stuff happened, obviously weather stuff with the hurricanes, and we're praying for everyone, and hopefully every one of you that was affected is recovering well and getting back to some sense of normalcy. But we understand a lot of you that were registered for convention were not able to make it there. So we did open our 5-week masterclass to all of those that did not be able or were not able to make it. So even if you didn't make it to convention, you are still invited to our 5 weeks of our masterclass. That's last week, the recording, I believe it was, if it wasn't sent out this evening, it's going to be sent out tomorrow morning. So look for that in your inbox. That'll be the recording, and it's sent out to everyone that registered for convention. So that's #1. #2 is this Saturday. We have Coach Brian Fryer coming on, and it's, I mean, the recording from Saturday was insane. Darren Kidd was insanely good. Yeah, I was going to give you guys, I was going to break the rules. I'm not going to break the rules. I'm not breaking the rules anymore. Following the rules. They just keep slapping me on the hand, and I just keep doing it. I never learn. I'm going to learn tonight. But this Saturday, same time, noon Central, you will get the link via email. We're going to have a graphic going out with the link to everyone that is invited to that call. And yeah, load up Saturday's call. If you can be there live, obviously he does a lot of live interaction. He's going to be able to answer some questions and stuff like that. So it's really great to be there live with them. If not, obviously the recording is a great second option. Week 3 is going to be Rob Sperry. So we've got Rob Sperry coming in week 3, and then you guys are just gonna have to wait to see who we're bringing in for week 4. But with that being said, I just appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, our second chapter, I want to make sure I've got it. Part 2, if you're keeping up here, part 2 is courage. Part 2 is courage. Part 3 is the heroic. And so part 1 was fear. Part 2 we're going to be covering next week is all on courage. And I hope each and every one of you choose to come back and hang with me next Monday. Bring someone with you, and appreciate all of you. Can't wait to talk to you soon. See you on What's Up Weekly. Until then, be blessed, stay safe. We'll talk soon. God bless you guys. Bye for now.